In this video, I am going to share with you 6 investment rules that particularly is so important in 2023. If you are investing in real estate, then these 6 rules are must for you, in particular in 2023. If you are interested, then stick around. 6 real estate investing rules that are so important in the year 2023. If you are investing or if you are planning to invest in real estate for the year, particularly this year, then these rules are must for you to follow. If you follow these, then your chance of having success in real estate is way higher than the average investor. So if you're interested, then stick around. Rule number 1, buy with always a buffer. You must have a certain amount of buffer when you purchase a piece of real estate. You have to keep that money aside because that money might be needed for any other maintenance items. I have seen so many people, they buy till their last dollar and they do not have any money to do any kind of maintenance work. And if that happens, if there is something maintenance work comes, particularly if you buy an older house and there's got to be a roof leakage, there could be anything that might come even 1 or 2 years down the line, and if you do not have that money to fix it, then you would be in a big problem. Having a 5 to 7% of your purchase price as a buffer is actually going to give you a breathing space, because if some of these items that needs to be fixed, then you can tap that money and fix it. So this is one of the key rules that I would always say each and every person needs to understand. So these are one of the key fundamental rules, is to have a buffer, and keeping that buffer is actually give you a nice piece of sleep at night, and if there is something happens, then you can always fix the things and move forward. Rule number 2, do not just buy and hold property. Have a plan. Because if you are planning to just buy and then hold the property for a few years and then assuming that the property price will go up drastically and then you will be able to sell, this market is not like that. 2023 has been changed because so many factors that actually cripple. The house price is all-time high. The interest rate is hovering around 6%. So having a just buy and hold, you need to ask the question to yourself that 5 years down the line, who would buy from you and why would they pay so much money from that? Yes, there is a bit of FOMO, fear of missing out things that might go on, but hey, more and more new builds might come during these next 5 years. If that many populations are not growing as per the number of builds, then your price might be. So have a plan. It means that you need to always understand that why your property that you're buying today is going to go up. What's the reason? What can you do to make sure that it is going to go up? Don't just be speculative about it is just going to grow forever. So if you're a passive investor buying something which is brand new and then just let it go for rent and then do not have any plan to do anything of this property, then the chances are you will not be able to make much money. 5 years down the line, it might go down a little bit, or even though if it goes up with inflation and so many things, then eventually you are not making any money. Plus, you need to understand, if the property is negative gearing, if the property is losing money every year, you have to pay that extra money every year. So you will have some additional burden to hold that property. So buy and hold property in today's world, it is not going to work much. You will be seeing that it is a lot of challenging. So many investors are planning to buy a brand new apartment and then hold it for 5 or 10 years and then assuming that it is going to go up. Ask yourself, why? Why would that property which is brand new today and 10 years down the line it will be 10 years old will be going up or 20, 30 or 50%? What is the reason? If you ask this question to yourself, you will be able to get that answer that hey, it might not go up. The real estate investment is all about the skill and expertise that you have to use. So buy and hold will not work, that is in 2023. So buy and hold will not work. Have a plan and make sure that you execute to the plan to make it work. Rule number 3, always buy a problem property. What do you mean by that? If you buy a problem property, think about how many people would be actually buying the problem property. everybody is chasing for solution. Every investor are thinking about, oh, how would I get a brand new property, how would I get a nicer property. But if you look for a problem property, particularly house, where there are some problems, there are some problems that you can solve, then only you will be able to make. I always say that buy a problem, sell a solution is the ultimate way to make money. So having a problem property and fixing those problems, and then either you can sell it off or you can actually rent it out and get a better rent. Your skills and expertise is so important in buying a problem, because once you can find one type of problem, and if you keep buying this kind of problem and then solve it and then sell it off to someone else and then move on, is like a cookie cutter approach, then you can make more money. Of course, it depends on your skill, expertise, the time that you have. But hey, you can just buy a simple problem, buy an older house, then you can renovate and then rent it out. And you can buy something like a bigger lot and then you plan to subdivide, not now, maybe 5 years down the line, maybe 10 years down the line, because the land price will always go up. Maybe you can buy a block of units and then actually strata title individual units and then you can sell it off. There are so many different strategies, so many different problems that you can buy, and that solve it with your skills, and then eventually you can make profit by selling those, or you can rent it out individually and then make a substantial better return through your real estate. Rule number 4, educate yourself. If you do not know anything about the property investing, then you have to learn those things. Some of the rules, basic rules, regulations that you have to learn. Each and every state has some different rules in Australia that you have to learn, because in a particular state where you are planning to invest, that rules and regulations you have to understand, you have to know, because if you don't know what is possible, then you won't be able to achieve it. And education doesn't mean just going to 1 or 2 seminars and read 1 or 2 books and then it's gone. Education means it's a continuous thing, and it is about learning from those who are actually doing these things. If you want to do a renovation strategy, learn from somebody who has done 3, 4, 5 deals and ask them the different questions, okay, and go with the numbers, and then accordingly you buy it. Go with different seminars, understand different terminologies, and then read through all these things, take a notes and refer those notes whenever it is possible. In my opinion, real estate education is a lifelong thing, and there is no end to it, because there are so many things to learn. As you learn more and more, your skill is going to grow more, and then you would be able to make much more profit. If you are buying, let's say, a property and doing some renovation and then sell it off with first time, because if you will be doing, you might not earn money. So take a smaller project and make sure that it actually doesn't lose money, as long as you learn that approach, and then in the next property, then you will be able to make money. If you buy something and subdivide, first time you might not make as much money, it might even lose a little bit. Hey, you learn something by doing, and that education is more important than just book is education. Learn from experts who have been doing this, and so that you don't make those mistakes, and using those you make money. And use these skills, implement those. That's how you make money. So learning, do not just keep the learning with yourself, use that learnings and then make money. Whatever it is, you have to find one strategy, you have to learn all the way to the strategy, and then you implement those strategy as maybe a cookie cutter approach, one after another, and then maybe the first deal you might not make much money, but from second, from third, fourth, you will be making money. So this is another rule, it's a must rule, that is educate yourself continuously. Rule number 5, be a number person, not an emotional person. What do I mean by that? Number person means you always do calculate your investment, and if it makes sense, then only you go ahead, not an emotional buyer or not an emotional person. If you look a brand new nice house and then you are feeling so, oh wow, it's so nice and all, and then you buy that property without knowing the numbers, how much you are going to lose money or how much you are going to make money, then that is not investment. That is a simply emotional buying. If you buy your principal place of residence, of course you want to buy that because you want to live in that area. There are a lot of emotions because your friends, families are living in that area probably. and as a result you want to buy, and that's an emotional decision. That is not a financial decision, because it doesn't make sense. You might be buying probably in auction, particularly in Sydney and Melbourne, and then if you are buying in auction you might be paying the highest a substantial amount, and chances are that it is a negative gearing property. So that's an emotional decision. It's your own principal place of residence. But I am talking about the investment property. Why would you buy a brand new property and then give it to your tenant to live in? It doesn't make sense, right? Why would your emotion kick in? Because you are investing specifically to earn money, no other reason. So if you are investing in real estate to earn money, so you need to always understand how I can maximize my return. That means it is always the numbers, it is always the calculation that will tell you whether you're going to buy that property or not. And if number makes sense, then you go ahead. You do some projections based on your skills, expertise. You see that you're going to do something with the property, you're going to change something, and as a result it is going to go up, and all these numbers make sense, then only you go ahead. But if you buy something which is, you do not look into numbers, you simply buy it because it looks nice and you feel it is a nice house, and then you rent it out to someone who is going to live, and they will be enjoying the house. Your tenant might enjoy the house. Yes, they are paying the rent, but you are losing money every year because you bought a brand new or a nicer house and then you have given them to enjoy. So it's, to me, doesn't make any sense to buy an emotional way of buying property and then giving it to somebody to live in. And rule number 6 is house price is not going to be double in every 10 years. This is such an important point, because often we hear that, oh, if you buy something today, then in 10 years time it is going to be double. No, it is not always the case. It has never been always the case. Yes, there are pockets, yes, there are investment that has gone double, but not always. This is not a rule. Just to back my point, let me illustrate you something. If you bought a property, particularly in the Southeast Queensland, in the year 2008 or 9 and then 2019, for the last 10 years, if I see that your house price has gone only probably 5 or 10 or maybe 15%, maybe 20%, but there is no growth at all. But after 2020 when the COVID pandemic started, from there until 2023 today, it might have gone substantially. So it is not like that it goes up double in every 10 years. And then the question that you need to ask yourself that, hey, if you buy something, let's say couple of $1 million property in Sydney, which in 10 years time, if you don't do anything with the property, why would it go to 4 million? And in order to go to $4 million, who is going to buy? How much will be their income? And from where they will get this income to be able to afford this $4 million property? So these are the questions that you have to ask. And if you believe that, yes, it is possible, it is going to go up double in every 10 years, then go for it. But I believe that it is going to be very, very challenging for particularly Sydney and Melbourne for the next 10 years to just go double with the property. There are some pockets that might happen, but it is not a generic rule. One of the things that you need to understand, the last 10-15 years, the interest rate has gone, particularly in Australia, has gone down drastically. But for the last 1 or 2 years, it shoot up. It was all-time low, from there it shoot up, as you see. So now it is an interesting, because if the interest rate hovers around that area for the next few years, and then it goes down a little bit, and if it goes down again to that all-time low, there are so many factors. The point that I'm trying to say here is that there are so many factors that determines that whether the price is going to go up or not. And going from X amount of dollar to 2x in 10 years and then 2x to 4x to another 10 years is just not sustainable for longer period of time. So no, house price is not going to go double in every 10 years. It has never been. There are so many examples that I can give, so many areas within Australia where the house price didn't go double in last 10 years, and similarly there are pockets where it has gone up double. So it's not a generic rule. So you need to calculate, you need to factor in, you need to understand whether it's going to go double and what are the things that you can do that will make double is more important than generic statement of that yeah, it is going to go double. I hope you got some ideas, some basic rules that I always believe is important in 2023. Just before I go, I will tell you one thing. Not investing is not an idea. Just before I go, say investing is better than not investing. So if you invest somewhere and it gives a not so good result, is better than investing. If you find this video helpful, then consider liking this video, subscribe my channel and turn the notification bell on so you get more videos like this, and it will also help me to reach out to more people like you. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.